Yo, happy Saturday, everyone. Thanks for jumping on with me, man. It's the Left Fresh Podcast. Hope everyone's enjoying their weekend, enjoying their Saturday, staying warm. Pretty cold outside on the southeast region. Another snow flurry, snow attack hit us on the southeast region. Everyone else jumping aboard. Thank you all. Want to remind you all to please subscribe, like, comment, share, tell a friend to tell a friend. Thank you for jumping on again. I greatly appreciate it. You all in for a big treat. This is the very first hip hop episode of the Left Fresh Podcast, first showcase of us. Um, I'm a big hip hop fan, just as much as I am a sports fan. So if you enjoyed the sports segment, and you enjoy hip hop, you definitely enjoy this segment as well. It's giving you a lot of great nonstop coverage of hip hop throughout the course of the year. New releases, album reviews, different discussions. I intend on bringing all of that to us at the Left Fresh Podcast. So if you're a hip hop fan, you're definitely in the right place. Definitely some R&B going to be involved in it as well because I always feel hip hop and R&B are always intertwined with one another. So it's never a big deal to throw some R&B in there as well. Definitely a big R&B fan myself. But yeah, hip hop is definitely a huge sector of the Left Fresh Podcast here. So the sports segments usually done in the middle of the week on Wednesdays at 8:30. These Saturday Night Live is definitely going to be done around 9 o'clock on Saturdays, especially on the heels of new music being released on Fridays. This month of January of 2026 has already gotten off to a great start, already building up on things. A lot of my hip hop fans, uh, the younger, the older, more veteran ones, you're no matter what region you're from, no matter what area you're from, I cover it all, man. I'm a hip hop listener. I mean, I'm a hip hop junkie, so I'm definitely going to be all over the place, covering all type of different things. So there's no limit to what I cover. If you're interested in what you're interested in, I mean, you'll find something you'll like with me. And if you're not, just bear with me for a minute. You know what I mean? I'm going to do this episode particularly. I'm gonna get right into it though, but I just want to give you a brief overview of how I'm gonna go through this episode. I'm gonna introduce about a heavy volume of albums that were released throughout the course of the last year, 2025. It was a great year for hip hop, a lot of great releases. If you follow hip hop in today's world, I mean, it's a swarm of artists dropping a swarm of material, a lot of quantity of music being dropped. So, if you're somebody who's used to growing up on FM radio like I am, I'm 40 now, but I'm at the mid-age part where I love the streaming era of it as well. So you get a whole bunch of different lanes and different things that you're interested in. Like I said, if you're not into a particular lane of hip hop, I mean, that's fine. There's plenty more. I find what I find what I like and listen to it rather than complain about it. And I like to point people in the right direction of what they like to listen to as well. Or I like to say put people on to it. You know what I mean? So, I'm not going to hold anyone any longer. Without further delay, let's get right into it, man. 2025 was a great year for hip hop. A lot of great albums dropped. A lot of great artists of all age ranges and regions, all abroad, dropped some great projects. Even some that wasn't particularly my favorite. I know a lot of people who had great reverberation for a lot of albums, great reverence for a lot of albums, highly highly popular albums, revered in Rolling Stones and Billboard and all the different hip hop panels and every different thing like that. So if one's not particularly your style, just know there's probably a whole bunch of people that do like it. I mean, if I don't mind being one off that says, "Hey, I'm not really feeling this." So I mean, but that's just me. But I mean, I'm just going to go through all of these. Pretty sure you're going to find something that you like. You might find something you can skip through. I'm going to go through the albums that everybody pretty much clamored about, and then I'm gonna transition it to probably the younger lane of artists, and then I'm gonna go into the OGs and the vets. I think a lot of the OGs and vets fired off a lot of great albums last year. I think some of our hip hop listeners into their 40s and 50s got something that you can listen to, some OGs you can listen to, and then I'm gonna follow it all up with the underground hip hop. There's been like a renaissance of underground hip hop music that's come out over the past 15 years, and a big showcase of it, heavy volume of material, and with a whole new set of listeners and a different way to consume music. A lot of underground hip hop is getting a lot more exposure. So definitely a big fan, a lot more fans of underground hip hop than ever before. And then I'm gonna finally finish it up with the new releases that came out in 2026. It wasn't too many of them, but it was some pretty quality releases. I'm gonna touch on the four that came out over the past 2-3 weeks. So starting off with the most clamored and most revered albums. I'm gonna start off with the one that everyone was talking about when it released. It was the Clips album, Let God Sort Them Out, released earlier last year, around the summertime, I want to say, close to the fall. Clips dropped an amazing project with a lot of great production from Pharrell. A lot of great appearances on there. It was a 13-song album. Had John Legend on the very first track. Um, Malice made a grand return to hip hop, and it was a great return. He dropped some great verses all throughout the year. Malice was going crazy all throughout the year. What's going on, D man? I'm glad you're here, man. We got to talk about this music, man. Everything that came out, it was some crazy projects released, man. This Clips album was definitely one of those albums that everybody was clamoring about online when it first came out. Um, Pusha T, Malice. Yeah, Tyler the Creator on track 3 POV. I mean, that was a nice collaboration they did right there. But one of the main feature ones that everybody was talking about, man, was the Kendrick Lamar on Chains and Whips, track number 2. His verse on there was, highly decorated in hip hop. It was almost pretty much enshrined in hip hop history off of last year. Cause I mean, he really did go crazy, left Earth on that verse. So I definitely appreciated what Clips brought to it. They had a couple of other great tracks on there. Number 9 stuck out to me as well with the Stove God Cooks feature, FICO. That was another great one too. So yeah, man, the song with John Legend, yeah, it was a dope one, wasn't it? Organized Chaos, yeah, man. When John Legend came through, a lot of great production by Pharrell. He definitely came through on there, did his usual. I mean, it's just a great mix every time they're on there. And then number 12 had Nas appeared on there. Nas was going crazy over everybody's verses last year as well. Let God Sort Him Out, slash Chandeliers. Yeah, that was another crazy track. Nas jumped on there, blessed the verse. He went crazy and left Earth as usual. So yeah, I mean, it was definitely Clips album, man. They put on an onslaught, man. They came out after a long hiatus and gave us I think an album that we can revisit later on and probably, dare I say, call it a classic. So I mean, it was a great album. Definitely was worth the praise and acclaim that it got. I was impressed from track 1 to track 13. I mean, it was a pretty good one. I mean, if some I might not revisit again, but I mean, overall, it was a very, very, very solid project. So yeah, everybody was definitely had the right to clamor about this one. We're gonna move on to the next one though. My man Freddie Gibbs and the Alchemist came with Alfredo Part 2. This one was a follow-up to the Grammy-nominated Alfredo album, Part 1. And that was another great one. That was released in 2020, almost won the Grammy over King's Disease. But I mean, Nas and Hit Boy went crazy that year. So, but yeah, Freddie Gibbs did great getting nominated for that first one. And he followed up with this one with another solid, almost borderline classic album as well. I mean, from the first track, 1995, that was one of the featured tracks. Yeah, this one was crazy. Dude, you got to check this one out, man. You got to check this one out. This is mandatory right here. Freddie Gibbs and Alchemist. Alchemist production on this one. He did some really good production on this one as usual, And then Freddie's flow and delivery on Alchemist beats. Yeah, man. Yeah, Gibbs is definitely tough, man. Midwest strong right there. Gary, Indiana's finest right there, man. Lemon Pepper Steppers was tough. Ensalada number 4 with Anderson .Paak. When Freddie Gibbs and Anderson .Paak gets on the track together, they do really good work. So yeah, if you get this one up, man, look at track number 4, Ensalada with Freddie Gibbs and Anderson .Paak, one of the smoothest sounding tracks of last year. I mean, definitely was a big one, man. I like this one right here. This was a tough album. I mean, this one could have been Grammy nominated as well. I mean, I like this one. To me, Clips and Gibbs were my first 2 albums that I liked last year. Those are the ones I keep revisiting the most. I mean, I just really enjoyed these 2 albums right here. If I had to pick my top picks right there, those would be the 2 right there. I mean, I kind of revisit those enough to say that I can easily go with these 2 right here. Yeah, man, it definitely was a good year right there off those 2 highlighted ones right there. And then another one, my top 3, JID, East Atlanta's finest right here, man. God does like ugly. This one was released around the end of the summer as well. This one came out. I mean, I found myself playing this one over and over again. This was another one, was sharp, cohesive, precise. I mean, he just gets better and better with every project. And the first intro with Westside Gunn on the intro. Oh my goodness, Westside Gunn did what he needed to do. I mean, you didn't even see it coming. You know what I'm saying? JID, he obviously, highly respected with Griselda and everything, but I did not expect the Westside Gunn appearance to start the album, and it hit the way it was supposed to hit. I was definitely big on this album right here. JID was definitely going to work on this one. I mean, track number 2, Glory, was crazy. Work. I mean, I didn't skip anything on this one pretty much. I don't think I really skipped anything on this one. I mean, it might be something I might not come back to, but I enjoyed it like as a full run. Like the production was on point. You know, JID is one of the best technical lyricists out of the young batch right now. I mean, he's definitely carrying along the legacy of great lyricists right now. He's pretty young too. He's on the if you've seen him with, you might have heard him with J. Cole. If those are not familiar with him, you might have heard him with J. Cole with Dream, with the Dream and everything like that. And he's done his own thing. He's kind of got like a I want to say like an Eminem Kendrick type of flow, rapping machine gun fire flow with some pretty good beats on this one, man. I definitely liked a lot of those tracks on there. He had VCRs with him and Vince Staples on there. That was a good track as well, number 6. Yeah, but this was definitely one of my top albums of 2025 as well. I mean, I was definitely feeling this, and I heard a lot of people revere this album as well. This album was definitely tough. Now this one here, now these three right here, these aren't ones that I would necessarily go to, but it was just like everybody was clamoring about it too much to deny, and I'm just gonna roll with it. I mean, like I can't lie and say there wasn't one or two tracks that probably ain't have good production or a good sound to it. So even though if I didn't listen to it, I can kind of appreciate where everybody else appreciated it. And Tyler the Creator is another one who drops a project that everybody kind of just reveres around. Everybody gets the appearances, the production, the sound, and everything like that. He's one of those artists that is really about the sonic sound of it and everything like that. And it was like, it's a 10-track album. Usually has more songs, but it was a pretty short album. But I mean, 29 minutes. But I mean, he had a couple of innovative, inventive sounds and everything like that. I mean, some of them was a little too adventurous out there for me, but I mean, there was a lot of people that liked it, and a lot of people appreciate his creativity, his innovative skills. Like he's willing to jump out the box and make some off the wall stuff and there's a crowd out there that appreciates it. And his album was revered a lot last year, so gotta point him out too. The other one up, this album right here, Playboy Cardi was another one that everybody was revering. Really, really tough last year. The album came out around earlier in the year, around March. It had a bunch of tracks over there, like way, like 25, 26 tracks on there and stuff like that. I mean, it was crazy. It had a whole bunch of appearances, Little Uzi Vert. See, Playboy Cardi kind of gives you that almost like alternative rap style, kind of like a Travis Scott, a Lil Uzi Vert, you know, Future's on there. Kendrick Lamar's on a couple of tracks on there as well. So I mean, if you want to hear a good Kendrick Lamar appearance, he jumped on Playboy Cardi's album for about 2 tracks. So, you know, Pop Out #1 track on there. Evil Jordan was a track that everybody likes and everything like that. Like I said, if it ain't for you, I mean that's cool. But I mean, a lot of there's a big lane of people that really enjoy that Playboy Cardi album and everything like that. So I mean, I can't deny the noise that everybody else is giving. So yeah, Tyler the Creator, Playboy Cardi also jumped in that mix this past year. Gave people their projects that gave their fan base what they were looking for, and they delivered. So, and last but not least of the albums that made the most noise, of course, Cardi B. I am the drama. Am I the drama? I'm sorry. Yeah, am I the drama? Cardi B dropped her album towards the end of the year, and every car every car with women in it going outside and everything had Cardi B on there. Every story on Instagram had a Cardi B song on there. Cardi B did what she needed to do for her fan base, and it met the anticipation with an album that gave her fans plenty of songs to cycle through. A lot of the lady fans was out here, like I said, bumping it real hard. You know what I mean? She had a lot of appearances on there. She had about 27 songs. I mean, I always feel I'm a firm believer. Like, hey, sometimes a lot of songs is a lot of songs. You might flood it, and you might have a lot of, you might water down your album, but at the same time, it's kind of hard to miss when you have a bunch of songs. I mean, you got to have somebody going like, right? You know what I mean? So yeah, I know "Hello" was like the big track that went viral all over the place. Pick it up with Selena Gomez, Imaginary Players, and everything like that. So Cardi came out of there, swinging. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. Yo, Jay, man, thanks for jumping on, bro. Yeah, man, 27 tracks, man. You can't deny that, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think you could get all 27 wrong, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, D, man. Yeah, salon, nail shop, Nissan Altimas. There's about 4 or 5 girls bumping that Cardi B. Like, hello, it's me. Hello. Stories on Instagram. You on there, man. Everybody got Cardi B everywhere. So, like, to say Cardi didn't deliver on there is a lie, because Cardi was all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Like, all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Organized Chaos said you could definitely play it from front to back. Wow, you know what I'm saying? Like that's the type of you know praise that I've heard about this album, and I've heard it myself. I was like, yeah, you can't deny some of these tracks. I mean, for the ladies, some for the ladies to jump in the Ultimate with, yeah, man, it's definitely yeah, it was definitely a vibe. Like I said, it's kind of hard to imagine Cardi not delivering. You know what I mean? So I mean, I was definitely, impressed for what Cardi does. You know what I'm saying? you know, I definitely was impressed with what Cardi did. You know what I mean? Like I said, she did what she had to do. You know, her fan base loved it. And yeah, she waited so long for an album. That's why some yeah, you know what I mean? That's the thing. When today's wave, you can either be an album that's really, really short, or it could be an album that's really, really long. You know what I mean? And it's like when you got that many songs, it's like, yeah, you can easily have a bunch of songs that you can easily make the album like, oh yeah, a whole bunch of skips, but it's also kind of hard to find one that you don't like. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the thing about flooding the market. Like there's different types of albums now. You got people who still make like cohesive projects, but then you got people that just flood the album with a bunch of singles. Like, here, take it. You know what I mean? There's no way you ain't gonna like all of these. You know what I'm saying? So, like, yeah, I think that's kind of like the methodology behind a lot of these albums, where it's like a heavy quantity of songs. So, but I mean, I definitely, respect the Cardi, respect the Playboy Cardi, respect the, Tyler the Creator, doing what they do in their lanes and everything like that. And then, like I said, big shout out to JID, Freddie Gibbs, and Clips, because those 6 albums were the ones that I kind of just seen universal acclaim for. So I mean, definitely, you know what I mean. Professional Women Love a Good Ratchet Song or Two. This album gave that. Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, when you got a lane and you fit it, you got to roll with it. You know what I mean? You got to ride it. You got to ride it till the wheels fall off, because especially in the hip hop industry, you know what I'm saying. You usually get like that 5, 6, maybe 10-year run if you're lucky. You know what I mean? So you got to strike while the iron's hot, and you got to just flood the streets. You know what I mean? Because eventually they'll look back and say, hey, hey, Cardi was one of the all-time greats and everything. You know what I mean? So it's like that's how you kind of have to have that mark. You have to get in there and continue to work. So. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the headline albums. Um, Other albums that were released over the past year. I'm gonna go into the slightly younger lane of artists. A lot of new music flooded out of here. Shout out to the maybe 30 and younger crowd that may be jumping on right now. But yeah, I definitely got something for you all. Definitely a lot of albums and projects. Some of us still find a track we might bump on one of these young dudes' albums and everything. You never know, but I'm gonna put you on to it nevertheless, though. You know what I mean? Let's get it started. Um, I know a lot of the old Atlanta crowd love this one right here. You know what I'm saying? The Metro Boomin, Futuristic Summer. This came out around like June or July. Had a whole bunch of tracks on there as well. A lot of appearances. You know what I mean? Like Metro tried to bring back that kind of like that '09, that late 2000s vibe. You know what I mean? Like he had a 2 disc. It was like a 2 disc album too. You know what I mean? So he had a whole bunch of appearances on there. He had J Money on there. He had Roscoe Dash. He had Quavo. He had Young Dro. He had DJ Spins. He had Waka Flocka. He had like I said, Roscoe Dash, Travis Porter, all these different artists on there that trying to trying to reignite that era, that party music era in Atlanta. So I mean, he really captured that sound for a producer that wasn't around in that era. I was kind of impressed how he was able to go back in there and pull out that nostalgia and everything like that. So I mean, I was definitely impressed with how he managed to pull that off, though. So I mean, it was a bunch of songs on there. Like I said, I think he had Birthday on there. That was one everybody kept playing. Partying and drinking with Waka Flocka, Roscoe Dash, Future, and 21 Savage. I mean, he had T.I. on there as well, too, jumped on there. So Schoolie, a lot of Atlanta artists jumped on to show love to him and everything, too. So I mean, I definitely, there was a couple of tracks on there. I was like, okay, yeah, it's got a nice ring to it. Kind of brought back that '09 feeling. So, yeah, he set it off right. I mean, it was kind of quiet for the younger artists up to this release too. So I mean, it was definitely needed, and it kind of got the ball rolling for everybody else to start dropping music too. So yeah, 2009 Atlanta all over again. Exactly, right. So yeah, I mean, I appreciated what Metro did, man. He's like he had that nice vibe to it and everything like that. I mean, he's easily like one of the best producers, especially the best young producers out right now. So I mean, he definitely did what he had to do. Definitely dug in his bag on this one, and it was definitely a good vibe on that one. But yeah, I'm gonna move on to the next one we got though. This dude from Florida, this kid is like only like 22 years old. Lil little Florida dude, right? He's funny because he got the little soft voice and everything like that. But I mean, he got a little swag to him and everything like that. He's real young, he's like 20 years old and everything. Real young dude. He got that Tallahassee, he's from Tallahassee. So he got that kind of like that Kodak Black kind of like delivery and everything with the little soft voice, but he got a little bit of a soft voice though. But he got a lot of the young rappers on his album with him and everything. He's got a nice couple beats on there as well too. So I mean, you gotta, you know, I'm not saying young rappers might be a guilty pleasure, but I kind of listen to a couple of them just to see if they got a couple singles I might trip and fall across that I like. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, I was kind of I kind of like I like a couple of those little Tyler songs, man. He's pretty good, man. Like I think he's real young too, so I think he might even get better as he continues to make music too. So a lot of potential with him though, man. But yeah, definitely setting it off with a young lane right there. You know what I mean? So he's a little creeper. He dropped the Creeper album in the middle of the year as well, too. So yeah, shout out to Lil Tyler. Um, Also, a lot of controversy with the YSL whole thing that went on, but in the middle of all that controversy, all four major players dropped albums though. Starting off with Gunna, the last one. His album right there had a big buzz as well. A lot of people felt kind of guilty listening to Gunna, being all the if you involved in all that street politics and everything like that. But I mean, outside of that, dude found a dude found great production, dropped a whole bunch of songs on here, 25 songs. You know, found his flow, found the production, found the lane, kept dropping, it just kept his head down, kept making music. And I mean, he's been dropping album after album for the past 3-4 years. So it's like, his music is like it's kind of a vibe, man. You just jump in the car and just ride to it, or sitting at the house chilling and everything like that, and you want to put some smooth music on and everything like that. Gunna definitely has the vibe for that. You know what I mean? Touring all over the place, people still see his shows and everything like that. So yeah, street politics ain't stopping anything with Gunna. His music still flowing right now, man. Wait, oh man, weight room Gunna came. Yeah, man, Gunna in shape and everything like that, working hard in the booth and everything. He's just keeping his head down, just making music, man. You know what I'm saying? He's not trying to get mixed up in all the noise and everything. He just kept his head out of it, kept his head out of the drama and everything, and he just kept on going, man. He's like, hey, Gunna's like, I ain't got time for all that stuff, man. I got music to make. You know what I mean? But it was funny though, because it seemed like everybody else followed his lead after that. Because after they seen all the praise Gunna was getting, I mean, everybody else was dropping music as well. And I mean, even Young Thug, after everything he came home with, he dropped the album, and it didn't really get much. It got overshadowed by a lot of the off the mic stuff like that. Man, you know what I mean? He tried to do something like that, but I mean, it didn't really have the same resonation that Gunna got. You know what I mean? And it's like, I think it's because he had a lot of drama and everybody was worried about the online antics and everything like that. But yeah, he dropped another 28 song album. He had a bunch of appearances. He had 21 Savage on there, Quavo, Travis Scott, YFN, Lucci, Sexy Red, Lil Baby, Mariah the Scientist. He had T.I. on there. He had Cardi B on there. You know, 29 songs on there. I'm not saying if you're a Young Thug fan or anything like that, but I mean, for 29 songs, I mean, all the controversy aside, I mean, it's crazy that all these artists managed to go in there and make all these albums with all these different quantities of songs on there. So another one that was on the list also was Lil Baby. Lil Baby wasn't active for a minute. Ever since the last couple years, he hasn't went on a run that he was at the early 2020s and everything like that. So he did come back with two albums though. He came back with Wham, and then he also came out with the Leaks right here. This one came out in December. He had a lot of appearances on here as well. He had Playboy Cardi. He had he had Young Thug on there, Rallo Rodriguez. Different artists. Um, Pretty. I'm not gonna say repetitive, but it's the typical Lil Baby sound. The production. He had a couple hits on there. Like I said, 29 songs. You're gonna find something that you could probably throw on, but I mean, it's a lot of songs to expect every last one of them to hit. You know what I mean? Yeah, Jay. They need Gunna. I mean, yeah, that's kind of like I felt like that was the motivation for them to get back in the booth because they seen Gunna wasn't distracted or getting phased by any of all the noise. He went back in there, just got on his grind, kept making music, and he's releasing all these 20-something song albums and everything. And it seemed like everybody kind of just followed their lead, outside of the controversy and everything. Because another key player that got up there was 21 Savage. 21 Savage towards the end of the year, he dropped the album. What Happened to the Streets? He had a nice, decent little album and everything like that. and it came out pretty well. He had some good appearances as well. Um, yeah, number two was Ha, kind of like I feel like don't dare with classics and remakes and everything unless you really gonna flip it out like that. He did do Step Brothers with Young Nudie. Yeah, he had Drake on there again, track number 6. He had Glorilla and Lotto. He had his girl Lotto on there as well. Poppin' was number 5. Number 8, Dog Shit was it's a track with him and Glorilla. Um, yeah, another one, Code of Honor with G Herbo. Number 10 was Gang Over Everything with 21 Savage and Metro Boomin, another good combination track right there with them. So that was a good one right there. Well, I say was track 10. Yeah, with Metro, him and 21 make a good combination. You know what I mean? Number 13, Atlanta Tears. Those 21 Savage and Lil Baby got together on that one. That was pretty decent link up and everything like that. I mean, overall, I think these Lil Baby, Young Thug, 21 Savage, they came back, got active, made some albums and everything like that. I don't know, I wouldn't necessarily call them their best work, but I would definitely say that it was, outside of all the noise, it was kind of like, yeah, let's get to the music, man. Just make music. You know what I mean? See if you can make music, see if you can get back that touch that you got everybody with, and just keep all the noise out because I mean, people. I would honestly say people didn't even notice that they dropped albums because of all the noise that went on. But another last of the youngsters. I know a lot of the old heads are like, oh man, I can't get into this one right here. But this dude right here is probably one of the kings of streams without even trying. NBA YoungBoy, man. Every time he drops an album, he went on tour. Everybody went crazy on his tours. I mean, my kids listen to him. I think everybody else's kids listen to him. I mean, he keeps just dropping music. I mean, he dropped 2 albums he dropped 2, and then he dropped number 3 towards the end of last year. So yeah, he was on a 3 album run, just making music after music. And then long albums too. Long quantity albums with a bunch of different 20-song albums. like like I said, some stick to the format of the whole maybe 12, 13 songs, and then some of just flooded with a whole bunch of singles. And I think that's kind of like how you get your streams up. In the streaming era, you kind of just flood everything with singles since everybody kind of just consumes music by the singles more so than the albums. Especially the younger generation. So they just get their singles from TikToks and different social media devices, or go through their albums, find their main songs. But yeah, this Deshaun album right here had 30 songs on there. You know what I mean? That was crazy in itself. And then, you know, and then you see Slime Cry, you see Massa and everything like that. This one had 20, another one had 30 songs on there. So it's like More Leaks also had about 20 songs on that one. So yeah, we talking about a combined total of about almost 80 songs on in 3 projects. So young boy's going crazy. He's been going crazy since he was about 17 years old. Um, Honestly, when you point to the best young rapper of the generation, I mean, I don't know if he's best as far as skill set, but I mean, as far as command and demand, the young generation loves NBA YoungBoy, and he didn't stop. He didn't disappoint them at all. He went on tour. I mean, dude just went crazy, and he just, you know, his fans went crazy too. I mean, he was trashing everything. I mean, certain arenas they canceled it. They canceled the events because his fans just went crazy out there like that. You know what I mean? So it's like it's almost like a cult like following and everything. It's like you can't deny it. And it's like every time he makes new music, it's heavily consumed. He's one of the top streaming art and one of the top streamed artists. Um, doesn't even really get real promotion. That's kind of the impressive part to me. Is like you don't have a big major label deal backing you or anything like that. You're just putting music out for streams, and these kids are just consuming it in droves. So, you know, shout out to NBA YoungBoy, man. I mean, I ain't a hater. I mean, I can't say I listen to every single song religiously. I come across some that got a little bop to it, but I'm 40. You know what I mean? Like I hear his music, and I'm like, yeah, I can see why the youngsters like it. It's just kind of like out of my lane, but I could definitely salute it because it was successful projects that he released, and definitely big up to him. Um, yeah, Birdman, yeah, man, Birdman. Talent, man, especially young talent. Baby gonna get a young artist, man, especially from Louisiana. He's definitely gonna sink his teeth into a young artist. You know what I mean? Definitely gonna grab one. So Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it for the young artists or the artists that are kind of hit that established mark at this point. You know, some of them right there at the 30s. Um, Before we switch to the next lane, I want to encourage you all to don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share, tell a friend to tell a friend. Like I said, we just at the halfway point right now. We just, I'm actually speeding, but we got a lot of different albums coming through right now. I'm just scratching the tip of the iceberg at this point. We got the minority group out the way. You know what I'm saying? I imagine some younger dudes listening and everything like that and watching. If you are, I appreciate it. But this is I expect this to kind of be the grown folks lane of hip hop fans right here. So we're gonna jump right in here to the OGs. Nas, Mass Appeal Records did a great job of releasing a lot of legendary projects all last year, especially towards the end. He was just dropping project after project. I'm gonna give you the most notable ones, the ones that the OGs gave us some good stuff. Nas got along, jumped on, made it happen, and some of these projects came out was really impressive. And I want to get into it. Let's get it. First and foremost, Mobb Deep Infinite album. Rest in peace, Prodigy. Honestly, this was probably um, one of the greatest posthumous verses blended into an album that I possibly ever heard. Predated verses from Prodigy pre-release. Put on this album with a great producer like Havoc. I mean, I'm not really surprised that it blended in so well, but yet I'm amazed at how well they blended it in. Nas, hats off to you for, keeping the ball rolling, getting the veterans, keeping the veterans active, making good music out here, especially for the OGs that don't want to listen to young people music, but don't want to really stop listening to hip hop either. Don't want to listen to the same 30-year-old music over and over again. You got some new music that sounds like stuff you're used to, something you can enjoy. I appreciated this Mobb Deep album. Havoc put on a masterclass of production. Prodigy's verses were put perfectly on there. Against the World #1 was crazy. Gunfire with Alchemist was crazy. Anybody that knows Alchemist and Mobb Deep, that makes a great combination. Everybody should know that. Look at Me had the Clips on there. Great appearance on there from the Clips with Mobb Deep. Ill combination. Definitely worked out well for them. Down for You with Nas and Georgia Smith. Nas bust the verses as he did with his appearances. Number 11, Porter Henry also had Nas on there as well. Nas was, definitely did his thing. And then, of course, track number 14, Love the Way, also had Nas and HER on there as appearances. So, yeah, a lot of things came together. Oh, Taj Mahal, too, track number 7 with Mobb Deep and Alchemist as well. This was a great project right here. I really appreciated hearing Prodigy one more time. I mean, you can't really get enough of hearing Prodigy. Like I said, I'm not really the biggest on putting posthumous verses, on new music, but this one right here in this case was definitely the sliding point right here. I was definitely cool with this one. I felt like I was hearing Prodigy release new music for the first time, since his tragic passing and everything like that. So yeah, Mobb Deep definitely delivered on this one. Shout out to Nas. This was just the first installment of what Nas did as far as putting the veteran artists out there. You know what I mean? And for the super OGs that's on right now, Slick Rick, Victory. Yeah, Nas got Slick Rick back in the field. Any artists, that feel like they're too old to rap or can't get active in the field and everything like that. I don't want to hear it because Slick Rick is out here putting pressure on people, man. All right. I like the production on there. The storytelling that Slick Rick brought. You know what I mean? I love the appearance Nas made on there. Documents, track 10. Slick Rick and Nas, two of the best storytellers you can get on a track. The production on there, Landlord was pretty good. Mother Teresa, Come On, Let's Go. There's a couple good tracks on there if you cycle through there, especially if you're an OG. If you grew up on Slick Rick, if you like Slick Rick, you want to hear some good storytelling. Nas actually put some innovative production on there. Actually did his thing on there. I appreciated this one too. So for the OGs, Slick Rick is a little bit before my time, but I can definitely appreciate what he did for the OGs right there. So yeah, something y'all can put down in your ride, you're doing your errands for the OGs out here for you 50 and up guys. Some Slick Rick for you if you didn't know. Also, an artist that I grew up on that was tragically slain, Big L, Harlem Finest. This album right here, kind of felt like a mixtape more than anything else because Big L didn't really release a lot of music as far as the mainstream, but Nas did a great job of putting together verses on the production, on a new age production, revitalizing, revamping a couple sounds. One of my favorite Big L tracks, it was not even an official track. It was a 7-minute freestyle with him and Jay-Z. They revamped that up, and I definitely enjoyed that one. Of course, hearing that again. I mean, I didn't mind hearing it again. The Doo Wop Freestyle '99, Big L and Joe Budden. People who know, a lot of people only know Joe Budden as a podcaster these days. I'm like, yo, if Joe Budden get busy as a lyricist. I mean, Joe Budden is definitely a lyricist. You know what I'm saying? Number 4, Fred Samuel Playground, Big L and Method Man on there as well. Method Man still going. Track number 2, You Ain't Got a Chance. Um, McGruff was on track 1, Harlem Universal. If y'all know McGruff, he's a Harlem mixtape legend. Did a lot of work with Cameron and Mace and Big L. A lot of that Children of the Cornfield. A lot of people who don't know Children of the Corn, that was a group of Cam, Mace, Big L, big time group in Harlem as far as the mixtape circuit was concerned. So heavily respected. Definitely respect Nas for putting this one down. This was definitely a solid project as well. Kind of like, scattered verses, scattered freestyles, just take the time to appreciate the work of Big L in an untimely fashion that he was taking away from us. He was actually getting busy though. So, I mean, it was good to capture that one good time. Next one up, De La Soul. Another one for the OGs. De La Soul always had top-notch production, good concepts, originality. Rest in peace, Gore Boy. You know what I mean? They still captured this one. Like I said, Nas getting these albums and these projects together to get these legendary groups their flowers. I really appreciated it. He went on a run towards it throughout the whole year. Number 2, You Don't Stop. Number 5 Will Be with Yummy Bingham. Yeah, I mean, Just How It Is. Track 8, Just How It Is with De La Soul and Jay Farrell. Yeah, I mean, that was another one. De La Soul and Nas. Yeah, one thing about Nas when he was getting these projects going, that he was jumping on these, giving verses and everything like that. So Nas was getting busy in the booth, man. And track number 15, NF with De La Soul and Black Thought. If you're a Black Thought fan, this is an album right here. Go on track 15, Black Thought left Earth like as he always does. You know what I mean? Track 17 had De La Soul. Yours had De La Soul, Common, and Slick Rick. All the OGs, love the pure hip hop, golden era type of stuff like that. I mean, this is definitely one of the albums for you. Definitely was a big fan. Definitely like this one as well. Nas definitely did his thing with these. Finally, Nas and himself with DJ Premier, Light Years. Nas definitely did what Nas needed to do. I'm gonna address an indictment that DJ Premier. A lot of people are criticizing DJ Premier, especially on the internet, saying that he's kind of lost his touch. Some of his production wasn't the same as we've grown to love. I will say that, as you'll see before I get off this, that DJ Premier worked a lot throughout last year. He was on a lot of stuff, and honestly, I'm not making excuses for him if his production wasn't that great, but he did a lot of things. And to me, I just feel like there's no way all of his production was bad. And I understand there's too many tracks for his production to be just completely stellar the whole way either. But he definitely, to me, I felt there was a couple tracks that, he did his production on. I felt Nas had some solid tracks on here. My Story, Your Story with Nas and AZ. Good to see AZ and Nas on the track together, of course. Good collabo. Writers, number 7. Mad Men, number 5. I mean, It's Time, number 9. I would suggest go through it yourself, and you can kind of formulate your own opinion about what DJ Premier did on those albums, did on the album. But I mean, I felt like, he had some on there. He did what he needed to do. I think, we just kind of hold Premier to a very high standard, and which is okay because he's the one who set the standard. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I feel like we just kind of we kind of held him to a high standard. I mean, there's a lot of music he had to make, man. I mean, at the same time, it's like, come on, let's be realistic. And he's a legend. You know what I mean? Classic Mob, Mr. Prodigy sound too. Yeah, D, man. Like they sounded like he really jumped in the booth and recorded it. Like it didn't sound posthumous. It didn't sound like a beat that Prodigy wouldn't jump on. You know what I mean? Like this all sounded like stuff like, that comes from working with somebody for so many years. Like, exactly the sound they were used to, the sound they would know, and how we to bring them out, and that just comes with that just comes with that lifelong chemistry right there that I can appreciate from Mobb Deep. Obviously, showing why they're one of the greatest duos. Definitely, man. Um, yeah, man. The OGs came outside as well. You know, the young rappers, the OGs, had a lot of good quality projects. Um, as far as mainstream goes, I mean, it was some it was pretty quiet. It was pretty active, but it wasn't the most active. You know what I mean? They had a couple of good mainstream releases. But those are pretty much it. Um, even Drake's appearance on Party Next Door is considered R&B, so that's why I didn't really consider that, a hip hop album. But yeah, moving on, man. This is the part right here that I particularly enjoy because I feel like hip hop kind of opened up a lane for where underground artists can shine with a support and do shows and sell merchandise as if they were major artists. And with the streaming era, it kind of opened up a lane for them to to really get their recognition a little bit more, even without the push that a major label would give you. You know what I mean? So without further ado, I like to unveil the underground renaissance, if you may. But starting off with the Griselda crew. You know what I mean? Benny the Butcher came out with Summertime Butch in the summertime. Summertime heated up last year. Around June, July, August, it was like a new project every week around this point. You know what I mean? Like Summertime Butch came out around this time. This is one of those strong, solid releases. Um, this to me was this was not one of those albums where you just flooded it with a bunch of singles. This was actually a cohesive project. You know what I mean? It was like, you know, like I said, this is the second installation of Summertime Butch. The first one, the same thing before, kind of give you that feeling. Jazz started off crazy with the Summertime Feeling intro, then it went to Jasmine's with West Side Gun. Derringer gave an original style of beat that you really don't hear too often of, and it made it work, and it came through real tough. You know what I mean? Benny also expanded his range a little bit, working with Mike Will Made It on Told You So. He also had Why Would I with G Herbo appeared on that one. That was a pretty different one too as well. Then he had, of course, the legendary Bun B made an appearance on In the Wall, track 10. Definitely love that one. One of my other sleeper ones was Pandora's with El Camino and Duckman, track 11. You know what I mean? Definitely was feeling Benny the Butcher coming back with another strong release and everything like that. And coming through with the Griselda style, along with a little bit other different experimental sounds he tried out. So I mean, this came together pretty solid. I wouldn't necessarily call it a classic work, but it was definitely one of his another solid one installation for the summer. Yeah, man, the Butcher coming. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, definitely was a good one here. Um, the other member of Griselda dropped the album that one as well. You know what I'm saying? West Side Gun, Heels Have Eyes 3. You see the Ted DiBiase Virgil cover, man. He's a big WWE fan. I think he had a little bit of an issue with WWE. He had to change the cover around and different things like that because he wasn't rocking with WWE anymore. Anybody who knows West Side Gun, they know he's a big WWE fan. All the events, sitting front row and everything, buying the merchandise, using the album covers and the clip art for his music and everything. So it was a big debate about this, but this was what the cover was looking like when the album came out and everything like that. I was definitely feeling this one. One thing about my West Side Gun's production is that he's definitely going to have some top tier production. He's definitely going to have good appearances. You know, he has Stove God Cooks on Mankind part track number 3. Free Rollies, Benny went crazy on that verse on the second track. You know what I mean? Tito Santana with Rome Streets on there. I like Rome Streets as well, man. I was looking forward for another Rome Streets project as well to come out. This was an 11-track song. It wasn't very extensive, but like I said, it was pretty cohesive. The production was pretty good. West Side give you that type of style, that gutter style that people like. Definitely was feeling that. But my favorite Griselda release of the year by far was Conway the Machine. This project right here stole the show for me. You can't kill God with bullets. This one right here came through track number 3. I played this on repeat. BMG. This one was crazy. I definitely enjoyed this Conway album. I mean, from track 1, I didn't skip any. I don't think I skipped anything all the way down to. I don't think I skipped anything. Of course, I always give it a run through, but I revisited almost every track on this Conway album. This one right here, I feel like can transcend to one of his best projects. He dropped a lot of projects too, but I was definitely feeling this one right here. Conway project right here. This was probably the best Griselda release that I heard, and I was definitely feeling this one. I still play this one. I still play Benny too. You know what I'm saying? I still play the other ones, but if I had to pick the Conway, if I had to pick the Griselda release that really just stole the show for me, it was definitely that one right there, man. Definitely, definitely. And I'm gonna move on back to the another one. This one really like a underground release. This is actually an album of the year nominee as well. Larry June, Alchemist, and Two Chains. This one right here came out in like January or February of last year, the very beginning. And the sound on this one was incredible. You know, Alchemist was in rare form production. Two Chains brought the brought the bars. I mean, he was rapping. I mean, Two Chains are really talking on this one, man. You know, Larry, he brought the cool, laid back flow and everything like that. But um, Two Chains came brought a different tempo to it, brought another edge to it. And I feel like I love that combination of them together, man. They got to do more work together because it's like it just fit like a custom made glove. You know what I mean? So it was like I was definitely feeling it. I was definitely still play that one back. Still definitely, yeah. Oh, that was your favorite last year? Yeah, man. That one was smooth. I mean, like I said, you can water plants to to that one right there, man. I mean, you could probably play that in the elevator. I mean, they need to get more royalties for this one. This one right here probably needs some endorsements. One thing about these reviewing these is I like to revisit these. Some of these albums come out so often and so frequently in such a wave. It's like it's kind of hard to catch all at once. You got to go come back and revisit them. So definitely a good time for me to come back and look at these again. I got to revisit this album. This one was definitely tough. And then, of course, Larry June came back again with Until the Night Comes. He was working with Cardo Got Wings this time. And I give people an unpopular opinion. I like Larry June with Alchemist, but I love Larry June with Cardo Got Wings. Cardo Got Wings is probably the best producer to work with Larry June. He gives you that bass sound, gives you that authentic, that San Francisco type of sound, and it fits Larry June's delivery and his flow and everything like that. I definitely feel like this one was one of Larry June's better projects as well. Two Chains, yeah. Two Chains, yeah, he goes good, man. He's a good tag team partner, man. You gotta, if you got Two Chains on a track on a track with you, he's gonna do his thing, and you're gonna have to just try to keep up because Two Chains he gonna eat every time on a feature, or he's gonna if he's on the end, he's on the other end with you. Yeah, you gotta bring your A game with Two Chains. Most certainly, definitely got to bring your A game with Two Chains. Um, Another underground legendary duo made a big return last year towards the end. Don Tripp and Starlito. I definitely enjoyed this project. I definitely missed the chemistry. I'm a big Don Tripp fan. I listen to Don Tripp a lot of his solo albums. Anybody who follows Don Tripp, he drops like an album almost every month. Literally dropped the album last at the end of December as well. But yeah, this album right here was the legendary duo, probably one of the most underrated duos in hip hop. In the 2010s, their work together is on the same level of an 8 Ball MJG or UGK or that type of level. I mean, I'm not really glazing it. I mean, these dudes right here really put in a lot of work, and their flow was on point, the production was on point, the discography is incredible. So yeah, it was real good to see them drop a part 4 to Step Brothers. I mean, it was a legendary series that they made, and they just came back and followed up on it. So it was good to hear both of them together at this time. And then another one who always floods it, a former um, worked with Lil Wayne on many tracks, went off and did his own thing and became pretty much an underground legend. Currency. Currency dropped a combined total of 5 albums last year, and these are 4 of those albums right here. You know, Never Catch Us was another great album. Had Harry Fraud on that one. You see the dates. You know, July 30th, August 30th, September 15th. You know, all of those albums right there. Pretty short, concise albums, but they were very solid. You know, if you know Currency, he's going to give you a solid flow. He's going to give you a solid sound, and the production is going to sound heavily. He's going to give you something that you can ride to. As you can see, also 10/15, it was his 5th album of the year. So it's like, yeah, he was busy. 5 albums in 1 year is crazy. And as crazy as that sound, that's not even the most probably. Like I said, if you ever listen to Don Tripp, these guys give you like, if you're underground, these guys give you about a new album every month. So, you got to keep your ear to the street. Me, I'm on Apple Music every Friday looking for something new that came out. I'm on the sites and everything looking for music that came out. And now that you have me, you don't have to go on those sites because on Saturdays I'll give you this live and you're gonna get all this new music and everything you can check out on your own. I'm gonna point you in the right direction because I'm here for you and I got you. All right. So yeah, that's Currency. Hard at work as usual. And then if you're not hip to this guy right here, I'm gonna get you hip to him. This guy by the name of Boldy James is from Detroit. Did a lot of work with Alchemist. Does a lot of work with a whole bunch of producers. I heard he doesn't promote his projects he's working on. Yeah. Freddie Gibbs and Currency, that's kind of one of his things that he called out Currency for, as far as like, not really promoting his work. But I mean, listen, I keep my ear to the street and I see the new releases on Apple Music and I check them out. And usually with Currency, I'm pretty impressed. But yeah, Boldy James, from the Detroit area, got a lot of ties to the Georgia and Atlanta area and everything like that. But he works with a lot of alchemists, a lot of different producers, hardworking artists, always everywhere, almost the same thing. He went on this run last year, it was ridiculous. From like January all the way through the end of the year, he was just dropping like project after project. This was like 6 projects he dropped right here. This was absolutely crazy. Like this type of run he went on, it was like almost every other week. It was like another Boldy project. I'm still catching up to the last one. You know what I mean? I'm still got to revisit and let the other ones marinate. But yeah, he can rap. He got a very monotone flow. Production sometimes can be, he tries all types of different production. So it's like you gotta cycle through all of his work just to find the ones that you like. Because I found a good bit of singles. It's hard, like I said, through six six albums. No, I'm sorry, 8 albums. It's kind of hard not to find an album that you don't like, but that's a lot of albums he's putting out right there. A lot of work he's putting in. Um, I always manage to find something on a Boldy James album that I like, maybe 2 or 3, 4 or 5, 6 or 7. I mean, some projects are really, really good. And it's like, man, Boldy, man, you gotta chill out, man. You don't take a day off. You know what I mean? So definitely impressive work for Boldy James and everything like that. Also, Dave East, also another one. Dave East goes on these incredible runs as well. He drops a lot of different projects as well. Um, I want to say like 2024, 2023, he went on one of those type of runs where he dropped like 4 or 5 albums. He dropped the East Mix Volume 1 right here. He also had this project. He also dropped 2 more projects over here. He dropped Karma 4, he dropped Fine Dining with Young Chris from the Young Guns. I know a lot of y'all probably haven't heard Chris from the Young Guns in a while. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, definitely he didn't miss a touch, especially on the first track. I mean, when you get on the first track right there with Chris and Dave East, check that out, man. I mean, the back and forth they did on there, you would think they would you would think they were a duo for a long time. I was really impressed with, how they came together and was able to like just rap off of each other the way they did. I mean, that type of chemistry don't come easy. You know what I mean? So it's like I was definitely impressed with that. Yeah, yeah. Anybody that know young Chris flow, Chris still got the flow, D. Like he still got the flow. Like he can still go, flow back and forth and everything like that. East came in there, gave him some good bars as well too. I mean, they had Ransom on there in a couple of appearances. Um, had El Camino doing a hook on a couple of songs. I mean, they had some good appearances. They had good production. I was thoroughly surprised with this project how Dave East and Young Chris managed to come together on this one. And that's not the only project that Dave East did that came out to work out such a successful way either. I'm gonna transition to my final artist on the Underground Renaissance. Dave East and Ransom on this one. Dave East and Ransom on this one. I was so impressed with the production on there, the bars on there. Like those two really played well off each other, and it was just like, whoa, man! I was like, Jay Z took some of Young Chris flow. You know what? I've heard we've heard that for about 20 years. I mean, if you're a rock fan and you heard how some of that, that Young Chris style, and then Jay jumped on there, kind of incorporated it because Young Chris was kind of ahead of his time. You know what I mean? Like that state property, they all had their own unique style and everything like that. You know what I mean? And then Ransom, oh yeah, Ransom, man. You know what I'm saying? Ransom and Rock, though. I'm gonna get to Rock in a minute too. But yeah, Ransom and Dave East, whew, this one right there was crazy. I mean, like I said, this is one of those albums that did not need a bunch of songs and everything like that. Didn't need a bunch of songs. They hit when they needed to hit. They had the The features on there was crazy. I mean, I was definitely impressed with how Ransom and Dave East chemistry played well off each other as well, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, D, man. Yeah, Ransom, 20 years strong at this point. You know what I mean? Like they had Jay Electronica on the final call on track number 2. You know what I mean? It was definitely a lot of creativity in that, man. I was like, man, I was definitely impressed with how Ransom came in there and just flooded the streets because this wasn't Ransom only project too. He was another one that went absolutely crazy last year. As you can see right here, well, Final Call was one of them, but he had 3 other projects, and he just went absolutely crazy. He was went on a crazy run. Caprini Green was another great project. The Reinvention was another great project with DJ Premier. DJ Premier was on that one as well. You know, so he was working with Nas, working with Ransom. Like I said, DJ Premier was getting worked. You know what I mean? So I don't know if we want to really indict DJ Premier for any type of production lapses. Because I mean, if you can produce for 3, 4, 5 different albums in one year, you know, going the way he did, I mean, you kind of setting a high standard. And I think people are just overly critical, but I think that he was actually pretty good. Ransom, yeah, Ransom just man. Ransom don't miss a step. You know what I mean? His music still just, you know, man, like, yeah, he need Nas and Jay. Yeah, that's definitely true. Yeah, Ransom has just been going on for so long and just providing consistent music, even from the underground aspect. I mean, it was definitely respected. You know what I mean? I definitely love the way Ransom came through with that, man. So definitely. Um, and then finally, we're gonna get that was it for pretty much the 2025. 2025 was a great year for underground, mainstream, you know, young, older, every region. You know, it was a good year for 2025. And 2026 has given us already something to look forward to as well. All right. As you look into beginning of the year, Godfather of the Underground, Rock Marciano, dropped 656. This one right here has already started off the year on a good note. Another one that doesn't require a bunch of songs, but the wordplay, the slick talk. I'm warning you now, if you're a fan of drums, you won't hear too many on this album. It's gonna be pretty much all melody, all sound, and all bars and slick talk. Rock gives you that real slick talk. You know what I mean? He really talks like, you know, he gives you the wordplay. Sometimes he doesn't even have to, you know, land necessarily on, you know, there's no bass or treble to land on or anything like that. He just talks to you real quick. You know what I mean? If you're sitting in the house chilling, you be listening to Rock, be like, man, Rock got some crazy ways of breaking down words. You know what I mean? Or playing with the word play and everything. You know, I really enjoyed Trick Bag and Childish Things. This was a 12-track album. Um, Hate Is Love. You know, he had the one with DJ Premier as well. That was another great release. But this one right here was a great follow-up to it. I definitely appreciated this Rock Marciano joint right here, man. Definitely was a good one. Also, Currency was right back at it. Yeah, if you want some chill out, yeah, if you chilling out, Rock, definitely. Yeah. And then Currency right back at it, man. You know what I mean? He came back at it with a nice short album. It was only like 8 songs, maybe 30 minutes. But if you wanted to, you know, throw some on, quick little vibe, quick little sounds and everything like that, you really can't go wrong with Currency, man. He had a good run at the end of last year and he's picking up where he left off. You know, Currency just you can tell he just gets in the booth, makes those songs and just vibe, man. 8 songs, you know, number 1, Chains on Top of Chains was a good one. Number 7, Evasive Driving was a good one. Like I said, it was 8 tracks to choose from. Pretty good though, man. I was definitely impressed with it. You know, sometimes simplicity works, you know what I mean? And in this case, these other two, not too much as much simplicity. They just flooded the market. The Baby, Beat More Grateful. The Baby opened up a little bit more. I think he tried to give people a little more substance to just a bunch of style and pizzazz and slick talk and everything. Try to give you a little more introverted, try to give you a little more introspective. Introspect into his life and everything like that. 23 songs. Out to Business, number 8, was an interesting track. Paper Low, number 7, definitely was an interesting track. Number 7, I would probably say check that out. He kind of talks about his whole Fall from Grace and everything like that. So I mean, if you want an introspective song to listen to from the baby, check that one out. But yeah, he got some couple samples on there and everything like that. He tried a different sound. I will warn you that the flow didn't really change, but the beats definitely dabbled in some different type of sounds and everything like that. So, you know, and it's a pretty solid release. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily claim it as his best, but it was something. I found a couple tracks I can go through. And then last but not least, the Game dropped another installment of a mixtape with Gangsta Grills with DJ Drama. It's more of a mixtape. First track, matter of fact, first 30 seconds in, he's already talking about trying to challenge Kendrick to see who's the best from Compton. So, track number one, whatever. I mean, you don't even sit down good before you start hearing he's name dropping Kendrick out there already. So yeah. Back to the baby. Yeah, I didn't feel like he wrote the samples the way he should have. Yeah, I think he was kind of experimenting with a different sound. Usually his beat sound a certain way, his flow sounds a certain way. So I think he was trying to find something new. But yeah, I mean, you know, we'll see where that goes. But yeah, as far as Game go, DJ Drama, Mike and Keys, Game dropped the mixtape earlier last year as well. The Gangsta Grill. So this is kind of like a part two as well. But yeah, another one's a 2 disc mixtape. If you're in the streaming era, I'm not sure how you interpret disc, but this was definitely this was another 28 to 29 song project. A lot of stuff to go through. I'm not saying you're gonna like everything, but I'm pretty sure the 29, 30 songs, you're gonna find something that got a nice sound to it or it's got a nice flow. One thing I'll say about Game is that, he knows how to keep some drama going, but he also knows how to drop a consistent project too. He's been around, he's been in the game for a while too. So, his music is pretty steady and solid and everything of that nature. But yeah, I thank you all for jumping on for the first ever episode of Hip Hop Showcase for Left Fresh. You heard my Left Fresh list to started off. I kind of cover all lanes, cover all eras, cover all regions. Whatever you like, I usually got it. Every Saturday, 9 p.m. This is the time. Great year for hip hop, getting off to a great start. I imagine it'll be more great music. Yeah, if it isn't any more great music, we're gonna have some great discussions. We're gonna at least discuss who has the greatest album. We're still gonna discuss, the best albums of the last 20 years, 20-year anniversary albums and different things like that. If you like your throwbacks and your nostalgia, if you like your new stuff, I got all type of stuff for you all, man. Thank you all for jumping on with me. I appreciate you all, man. Like, comment, subscribe, share, tell a friend to tell a friend. This doesn't stop. I'm just getting better. It's only going to get better because I got a lot of music to cover. Got a lot of sounds, got a lot of stuff coming out. Like I said, 2025 was a pretty busy year to got you all caught up on. 2026, we're gonna go through that year together. And every Saturday is the hip hop type of channel. Wednesdays is a sports channel. I see you all by then, 8:30 on the Wednesday nights. All right. Yeah. So I mean, I do a half hour earlier on the Wednesdays for sports. But tonight, 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock Saturday Night Live. You can label it as that, just as that. Appreciate you all for jumping on with me, man. I appreciate you. Love you. Remember, tell a friend to tell a friend. Subscribe, like, share, do all of that good stuff. I'm gonna keep it coming, keep it going. And I hope you all enjoy your weekend, enjoy your night. And before you anything, if you got your streaming services, your Spotify's, your Apple Music, go back through this episode, go through these albums, check these out. These are Left Fresh recommended, and I've got more for you coming back next week. Till then, to live at 9. Yes, sir. That's right. Yeah, thank you all for jumping on with me. I love y'all, man. Good night.